Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm an Atlanta area personal bankruptcy attorney, and today I'd like to answer the question, of course, I get from every client: how much is all this going to cost me? And the answer is, of course, it depends on what type of bankruptcy you're filing and how complicated your case is. In general, Chapter 7 cases are going to run around $1,500 plus or minus, plus the filing fee, which is around $300. So you're looking at in the $1,800 to $2,000 range. It could be a little bit less if it's a real simple case. It could be a little bit more if it's a more complicated case, but that's kind of a general rule of thumb. Chapter 13, a little bit different. The filing fee, again, is going to be around $300, just under $300. The attorney's fees are going to range, and most people, myself included, are going to be in the $4,000, $4,500 range. Realize Chapter 13 is a 5-year plan, so we're talking about 5 years worth of work. Most of the time, I don't ask for $4,000 up front. I will ask for the filing fee, which again is around $300 plus maybe $700, $800, typically around $1,000 to start. So that's general. And again, it's going to depend on have you filed before, what kind of issues are there in the Chapter 13, but that's sort of a general rule. So to go into Chapter 7, you're going to need around $2,000. To go into a Chapter 13, you're going to need around $1,000, maybe a little bit more in cash to get the case started. Now, in Chapter 7, because Chapter 7 discharges debts, we are not allowed to finance Chapter 7. So basically, and anyone who does is really violating the law. So if you file Chapter 7, you've got to be able to come up with the money to pay for it up front before we file. We have a lot of cases where we'll start working on a case, somebody comes up with half the money or a third of the money, and then over time they put together the funds to file the Chapter 7. We cannot actually file it until the fee is paid in full. Fee and the filing fee are paid in full. Again, Chapter 13 is a little bit different because we can backload a big chunk of our fee into the repayment plan. So again, if you pay $700 towards my fee up front, the remaining $3,500 or whatever is going to be paid as part of the Chapter 13 plan. So if your plan payment is $200 a month, $50 or $60 or $70 a month is going to go towards paying the attorney's fees. So it's a little bit easier to, I think, to get into a Chapter 13, but Chapter 13 is not the appropriate remedy for everybody. So you got to make a decision about what you want to do. But that's kind of a big picture overview of it. Like I said, it depends on how complex the case is, how many creditors you have you filed before, what's the likelihood of any kind of litigation, that sort of thing. But what I try to do is when Susan or I meets with a client, we will try to give you, and we almost always do, give you a flat fee. This is what it's going to cost based on our evaluation. I've done this for, long time, 20 years. So I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to cost based on what I'm seeing there. So I can pretty much tell you what it's going to cost, barring anything unexpected. Because I realize when you're filing bankruptcy, you don't have a lot of money, and the last thing you need is something open-ended. So I do my best to try to avoid that. So that's big picture, how much a bankruptcy costs. Any questions about this or anything else related to personal bankruptcy, call Susan, call me. We're at 770-393-4985. And until next video, I'll see you soon.